Sometimes a jury will really take your recommendation to heart and they'll follow it exactly. And sometimes they'll do the complete opposite. And then sometimes they will come up with a number that literally nobody can figure out, right? So those are really the things that go into answering the ultimate question, the number one question on every personal injury client's mind. The number one question by far on every personal injury client's mind, whether it's asked or not, is how much is my case worth? And so I'm going to talk a little bit about that. There are really two main topics that answer that question. And so we're going to talk about both of those in this video. So that the first main bucket of questions to answer the question is a few different components. So one is how much money is available to recover on your claim, right? So 99% of the time, we're going to be talking about how much insurance coverage is available to recover on your claim. So the easiest way to understand this is if you get rear-ended by a delivery truck for a huge delivery service, the amount of money available on your claim is not going to be an issue, right? We're going to have as much insurance or as much money as we need on the other side of the claim. However, if you get rear-ended by Joe Schmo, who has the state minimum liability or injury coverage, then most likely in most circumstances, the amount of your claim is going to be dictated by how much insurance coverage Joe Schmo has. So that's number one question. Number two, let's say that we do have lots and lots of coverage on the other side or money to recover on the other side, and we don't feel like that's an issue. Number two would be, what are your injuries? Right? So the injuries are the most influential and important factor in determining the value of the case. And so specifically with your injuries, what are the doctors saying, right? How serious are these injuries? What are the future ramifications of these injuries? Is there going to be medical treatment required in the future for your injuries? That's a super important, probably the most important factor in determining the value of your case. And then three, also really important, is liability, or who's at fault for causing your injuries. Is that something that's in dispute or not, right? So if you're rear-ended and you're hurt as a result of being rear-ended, liability is not really in dispute in that particular case. If it's, let's say some sort of complicated product malfunction where it's unclear exactly who was at fault, then liability is probably going to be contested and challenged in that case. If it's he said, she said type accident and there's not really any proof one way or the other, that's going to affect the value of your case. So that's sort of the first bucket and the first layer of questions that need to be answered in order to answer the question, how much is my claim worth? The second is, I want to talk a little bit about the types of damages, as we lawyers call them, but the types or the elements of your claim in determining the value. So there's really two big buckets. We call them, legally, we call them economic damages and non-economic damages. I generally refer to the non-economic damages as the human damages. To me, those are the most important. But economic damages under the law, think of those as reimbursements or pass-through type damages. It's usually made up of medical bills, both in the past and in the future. Also, wages, right? Did your injuries cause you to lose income in the past? That's another type of economic damage. And same thing for wages in the future. Are your injuries in the future going to cause you to lose income or wages? So those are the most common types of economic damages. The non-economic or human damages, the most common, pretty much everybody has heard of, is pain and suffering, right? So some people will refer to them as pain and suffering damages, but under the law, there are actually seven different types of these damages. And so we have pain and suffering, physical impairment, inconvenience, loss of enjoyment of life, mental anguish. You get the point. These are the damages to the person or the effects on the person, the human. At Chubb Law, these are what we believe are the most valuable and important damages. I can tell you from doing this on a daily basis, the insurance company disagrees with us on that. And so lots of times, that's really where the dispute on cases comes in, is on the value of these human or non-economic damages. It's interesting, under the law, there's what the law actually says is there's no exact formula or specific way to measure these types of damages. And so what the law says is ultimately, if a case goes to trial, the jury's job is to come up with the value of these damages and base it on the evidence in the case, right? So that's really all the law says with respect to that. Obviously, if we go all the way to trial on a case, we have specific ways and recommendations. We have ways of presenting the human damages to the jury on the case, and we'll have recommendations on how they should measure these, but ultimately they get to do whatever they want. And so I can tell you from personal experience at trial, sometimes a jury will really take your recommendation to heart and they'll follow it exactly. And sometimes they'll do the complete opposite. And then sometimes they will come up with a number that literally nobody can figure out. Right. So those are really the things that go into answering the ultimate question, the number one question on every personal injury client's mind. It's nuanced and it depends on the evidence in the case. Thanks for watching.